Good evening, folks. I wanted to share with you the first light of my latest pipe made by London's Calling, Simon. Look at the grain on it. A beautiful bog oak. Hidden in the ground or in the bog for hundreds of years, thousands of years probably. Until somebody comes along who shows great skill and reveals the inner beauty. It has a lovely grain on, well, every part of the pipe shows the grain at its best. And bog oak's not easy to work, and yet Simon has managed to make a pipe to be proud of. Certainly I'm proud of owning it, and I want to thank him for his great skill. If you look at it, there's so many different things come out. It's very smooth. That looks as if it's rough there, but it isn't. It's just the way the grain is. It's a characteristic of the bog oak that it has such fine grain. But you know, it takes skill to make a pipe that reveals the grain to its best. And I think Simon's done it. Anyway, I just wanted you to see that and to share it with me, share my first light of it. And unlike most of my pipes, if I spend time talking, it doesn't go out. I don't know whether I said, but I'm smoking Dunhill's Nightcap in it. I've had that for quite a while now, so it's developed nicely. It's put a bit of age on it. I also have some Peterson's Nightcap, but that's in my cellar, and I've got some open, but I just felt that this pipe deserved a high-class tobacco. And in my opinion, Dunhill's sold some of the high-class tobaccos, the English blends. It's very smooth, very nice smoke, reasonable nicotine content, I'm told. Just sad that Dunhill's felt that they didn't want to be associated any longer with tobaccos that had made them famous, that royalty had bought, and didn't feel that they were any less by smoking it. And let's be honest, many of us would have continued to buy. but I certainly won't be buying any of their non-smoking stuff. Simply because, as good as Dunhill are, you can always find better. And yes, some people will say, well, there are better tobaccos than Dunhill tobaccos, and that might be true. But there are very few reliable English blends or English tobaccos that you know each time you fill the pipe with it, you'll enjoy the smoke. I had thought of using Bitkittel, one of the German blends I like smoking. Or Presbyterian Mix, another reliable blend that has that English sophistication about it. This pipe makes me feel quite noble. I think I should have put my tweed suit on. Can't wait for the grouse shooting season to start in August. Although I shall have to. But before then we'll have Wimbledon, we'll have Cows Week. And that's not when the English go out milking. It's the great rowing festival on the Isle of Wight. I watched the new Picard, the first episode of it, and thought it was very, very good. If you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube. It's on YouTube, Amazon Prime. It's well worth a look. I think it's going to develop into a very good series. You can tell how much I'm enjoying this by the way I keep sort of, showing it and puffing away without saying a lot. I've been very annoyed with the Church of England again recently. We had a sex scandal. One of the bishops had been abusing young men, mainly men over 16 and early teenage, but many of them. And the bishops and the establishment rallied round and protected him for as long as they could before he was eventually brought to trial and found guilty. It reflected very badly on the bishops, especially the Archbishop of the time. It involved Chichester Diocese, which has been plagued by scandal. The sad fact is that I knew many of the people involved in what was going on in various ways. I knew knew Peter Ball, rather, not Michael. It was Peter Ball, the bishop. Michael is his twin brother, and I'm not surprised that I mixed them up. They both helped found the Community of the Glorious Ascension, which we were involved with when we were in Bradford. David, my friend, used to be a monk in that order. I won't say I was glad that David had died before most of this came out, because I miss him so much. But I just dread to think what he'd have had to say about it. We used to have some parties at the CGA, usually celebrating when one of the brothers had come out of hospital or something like that. So, as I say, Peter and Michael Ball and other members of the CGA I knew quite well. I was trained in Chichester Diocese. I knew many of the people down there, some who have suffered abuse, some who have abused, and many who didn't. But it just reminded me how much and how wrong the Church of England is in the way it covers up things, the way it lies, not just about the abuse, but about other things as well. It seems that the bishops are adept, many of them, at lying, supposedly to protect the church. They have lost their way. I can think of some great bishops, very spiritual men who were human, but who cared, men who would have stood against some of the things that have gone on. Somebody suggested I write a book, but I don't think that would be a good idea. They are very, very powerful. In the Peter Ball case, it went as high as the Lords, the House of Lords, the judge, some of the royal family. Supported Peter. He was a very deceitful man and appeared to be a very holy man. The reason I don't think I should write a book is because I've not been a holy man. I've made my mistakes just as much as anybody else. But I hope to God, who I used to believe in, that I would admit my faults. And certainly not lead, I hope, to the suicide of a fine young man who wanted to give his life to God and who was treated so badly that he couldn't face being failed again by the courts. Sorry, I've gone on too long. I hope you put it down to just somebody smoking a pipe and sharing with you what is on their heart. I think the doctor's right about me possibly starting with Parkinson's. You can see that there's some slight tremor in my left hand, and it seems to be starting on the left side. I shall leave it there because I've gone on too long. Those of you who have stayed with me, God bless you. You've got a strength and a perseverance that would get you to the top of Everest. You've probably heard this joke before. There was a barnstormer pilot during the 30s going around the country areas offering to take people up in his plane for $10 a person. And this farmer said to him, well, take the wife and me up for $10. And he said, no, it's $10 a person. And the farmer said, oh, come on. So eventually the pilot said, all right, bet neither of you must scream or make a noise when I start doing loop-the-loop and all that kind of thing. And the farmer said, that's all right, that's all right. So the farmer and his wife gets in the plane and the pilot takes it up, loops the loop, twirls the plane as it's going along, tries everything to make the farmer and his wife make a noise, and eventually gives up and comes down, and as he's landing, sort of leans over his shoulder to the farmer and said, well, I've got to give it to you. I thought you'd at least make a noise. And the farmer said, well, it was close. It was close. Especially when the wife fell out.